So my love of cars started, I was little, probably 5 or 6, and my dad actually ran hobby stocks at the local dirt track. So obviously it started with race cars, actual, dirt track race cars. And from there it just kind of grew. I grew up in a really small town, like 500 people town. Most of what they drove down there was trucks. That's just the way it was. But as I continued to grow and age and kind of develop my own unique taste, I realized that I didn't just love cars and I didn't just love trucks. I loved everything with an engine, man. I have this inborn fondness of all things automotive. My name is Dustin and I drive a 2017 Volkswagen GTI. So I'd sold my 6-liter Power Stroke and bought a 07 Subaru Legacy back in 2014. We're throwing it back. I'm old, okay? Don't judge me. And so that was kind of my first entry into like the whole car scene. There was a small meet that happened. It was right after I bought the car and I was super excited. I was like, hey man, I have a stock car, but can I come out? And I linked up with a couple of guys that I actually still talk to this day, which is pretty cool. I started to make some friends and I realized that I wanted to do more than just be a part of the car community. I wanted to give back and kind of, create events and help to do bigger and better things. And that's where WCEC came around. 2015, Alex had posted on the page and said, hey, we're looking to bring events to the state. At that point, his club was still new and he really had no freaking idea what he was doing anyway. He was looking for places to go with events. And I said, well, let's do something in Appleton. It's pretty centrally located. It makes sense. And the next thing I knew, I was planning an event. We threw the first ATO, Appleton Takeover, for most people that don't know what that is. It drew 1,200 cars. It was massive. And I knew at that point that this was going to be something more than just a hobby. And it really became a lifestyle for me. I was looking for a Focus ST because I wanted something that was fun, but still practical for a daily, something that made a lot of sense. At that point, my girlfriend and I were 3 hours away. So I wanted something that I could drive for 3 hours and not hate my life. I was looking for a Focus ST. I couldn't find one priced where I wanted to. And so I started looking out there and saying, what else? What's in that price range? What's in that market and that hot hatch game? And I had never considered a GTI because I'd never owned a Euro car before. I found this one. This car was in Dubuque, Iowa. So it was 5 hours away, but it was the best priced GTI I could find. It had the options I wanted. We had kind of struck a loose deal. I went down there on a Saturday. I left at 5 a.m., got down there at 8 a.m., drove the car at 8:30, and I immediately fell in love. And the rest was history. I signed the papers and I drove it home. The GTI has BC Racing coils, BCBR series. It's on Conseil KMP's 18x9 plus 35, which is a very unique wheel choice for a Euro car. That's a very JDM Fitment wheel. It's pretty stock, mostly aesthetics. It's got a ton of stickers, as you can see, plus 50 horsepower a piece. But it's pretty stock for now. I've only had the car about almost a year now. So River Valley Road Rally, for those of you that aren't aware, is a time distance-based rally that we do every year. It's based out of Wisconsin. It's about 8 hours worth of driving. It's a ton of fun. My first year, I was involved just because it is the brainchild of a lot of the WCEC staff. So I volunteered to staff it. My first year, I only worked a checkpoint and then drove right home. Didn't go to the after party, anything like that. Second year, I stuck around for the whole event, had a ton of fun. And then my ex-girlfriend and I broke up. And then before the third year, Gretchen and I got together. And Gretchen is basically co-founder of River Valley Road Rally. And so when you're dating the co-founder, you kind of tend to get involved. So over the last year and a half, I've gone from just a volunteer with those guys to essentially operations manager. I work basically hand in hand with Alex and Gretchen to make sure that everything Road Rally is on pace. So it's interesting. I've had this question asked before a lot, you know, what makes me involved with cars? What drives me back to that every day? And my answer always has been the people, which is really backwards to think about, right? But it explains my involvement with the car club and with the rally and why I work here and all those things, because to me, cars are, and this is going to be a really bad pun, but cars are just a vehicle to get there, right? To me, it's the friendships I've made, the connections I've established. I wouldn't have this job had I never bought a Subaru Legacy and gone to a bowling alley car meet. I would have never met Alex. I would have never met Sean. I would have never been here. So it's so wild to me to think about that. You know, so for me, that's what it's about. It's about meeting people and creating friendships and you know, opportunities that come along the way. It's insane to me.